Welcome back, everyone. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about something a little bit wild today. And this is the second wild video I've done of the day. We are talking about aliens coming. And no, I'm not making this up. This is real stuff from the real mainstream media. Now, there was an article released basically yesterday or today, I think it was, from the Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis sparked by aliens. And I'm not talking about the illegal aliens that are turning up on our shores every day. I'm talking about real nanu coming in from space, aliens, flying saucers and probes and all that sort of stuff. This is a real article. This is not some fringe conversation on some wild area of the internet. So this is an article. I can't share it with you guys. I've read the article. I can't share it with you guys because there's a paywall on it. But this is from the Sunday Times. The Bank of England must plan for a financial. So it was released today. The Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis sparked by aliens. You guys can go and read this yourselves. I can't share this because there's a paywall and I'm not registered on my computer. I'm only registered on my phone, which is a different address. But anyway, before we get into this, just ask yourselves a simple question. All right. Do you think that there is life out there on other planets? Like, do you think there is? Now, I would say it's almost a mathematical certainty that there is. Then the next question is, have they come here and is there going to be an alien disclosure? And I'm going to give you my exact date that I think that if they are coming, I'm going to give you guys the exact date I think that they're going to turn up. And it's getting closer and it's not that far away. So let's just continue. Let's just get on with this, guys, because those of you who've been following me for a while know that I've been following this for a while. And I do hit on the aliens now and then. So I've been following this rabbit hole for quite a while, and something is certainly shifting. It started with the headline, that hit like an absolute thunder bucket. The Bank of England must plan for a financial crisis being triggered by an official announcement confirming the existence of aliens. Now, if you look on the internet, there and again, I get it. This always happens. There's going to be alien disclosure. We don't get anything. But you read that right, ladies and gentlemen. This is not some fringe blog. This is from the Times on. I'm not going to share it, but it's from the Times on Sunday. This is a mainstream media outlet, a former senior analyst there. Her name's Helen McCaw, who spent decades in financial stability until 2012, wrote directly to Governor Andrew Bailey. And she's not joking around. She's saying when there is an official word from, say, Big DJT, he comes out there and he's saying, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but we got aliens. There's a lot of aliens that they're heading towards us. I can't put tariffs on the aliens. No tariffs for the aliens. They're probably going to tariff us. If somebody did confirm the existence of non-human intelligence that are behind the UAPs, that are behind the UFOs, maybe they've been probing, maybe they've been probing Earth, maybe they've been probing some politicians in the UK. Who knows? Maybe they're already here. The markets would go haywire and you would be looking at some sort of financial crash. Ontological shock, she calls it. That's the gut punch moment when everything we thought we knew about our place and about our universe gets rewritten. Panic selling, euphoria buying, people rush to buy gold as a safe haven, only to realize even gold might crash if alien tech means asteroid mining floods the planet with precious metals. Bank runs, payment failures, even civil unrest in the first chaotic hours. She's urging the banker, and I think that's quite fair. I honestly do, guys. I think that you get people panic selling, you'd get people panic buying, people going out to buy gold, then realizing not to buy gold if alien technology means that we can mine asteroids. All kinds of crazy stuff would happen. There would, can you imagine a bank run? Can you imagine the amount of people who would think if aliens are on the way, why am I going to bother paying my mortgage anymore? I'm good with that. You know, you would get civil. All this would happen within the first few hours, she's saying. And she's urging the Bank of England to quietly build contingent plans, not because little green men are landing tomorrow, but because this isn't fringe anymore. It's a plausible black swan event. And can you see how in the last maybe 5 years, maybe in the last 5 years, how we've gone from aliens are conspiracy theories, laugh at them, to, yeah, it might happen now. Yeah, it's probably going to happen. And slowly but surely, it's like with the military. It's like with the war in Ukraine, right? We're just going to give the Ukrainians humanitarian aid. Yep, non-lethal humanitarian aid. Okay, right, yep. Okay, everybody, yeah, they seem happy with that. We're just going to give them helmets and body armor. Yep, they're happy with that. We're just going to give them small arms for defensive measures. Yep, everybody's happy with that. And you see how you keep, you know, like this tactical tiptoe moving forwards. Why now? But why now, ladies and gentlemen? Because the pieces are moving. Yes, they are. The United States is deep in this disclosure progress. Congressional hearings, the UAP Disclosure Act amendments are floating around now. UAPs is the new acronym for UFOs. I think it's called Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. I think that's what it's called. Or unidentified anomalous, I don't know. It's UFOs in old money. Now, the 2026 NDAA forcing ARROW to brief lawmakers on intercepts since 2004, reviewing overclassification. Whistleblowers like David Grush are still advising, they're still advising the age of disclosures are out there, quoting senators and former intelligence chiefs saying, we've had things operating over our nuclear site and it's not ours. And I talked about this back in the 60s. There was an incident in the United States where all the nuclear weapons in a nuclear silo, they just all the power just went off and they just turned off while there were these UFOs flying overhead. And that's well documented. You don't know. Nobody denies that. So the speculation is everywhere. Prediction markets are lighting up with bets on declassification or aliens confirmed by the end of the year. UFO researchers are saying whistleblower activity is ramping up. Evidence is aligning, even ties to the mystic Baba Yaga, predicting a massive event or alien contact in 2026. Others point to patterns, more hearings, political pressure, even cultural stuff like Steven Spielberg's upcoming movie Disclosure, dropping mid-2026. It's like the universe is teasing us. It's like the stars are aligning. But let's be real for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be real, and you're hearing me one time, fam. No official from the Pentagon, the White House, or ARROW is saying any day now. Their reports still mostly explain sightings as drones, balloons, or misidentifications. Past predictions of imminent disclosure have come and gone. Whatever, skeptics call it incremental transparency. Now, I think incremental transparency is a better word. You know what? I think mine's better, the tactical tiptoe, where you just do things slowly. So rather than jumping out and saying, yep, they're here, they've got, they've been probing us, you just release this slowly and you wait for the reaction. You just wait for the reaction. There's been lots of hoaxes, there's been lots of crazy stuff. Still, the momentum does feel different this time. That Bank of England letter's going viral. It's all over the internet, guys. People are sharing it. It's not just clickbait. It's a signal that even our institutions are starting to treat this as a real risk. Congress keeps pushing. Whistleblowers keep talking. Sightings keep popping up. If something breaks, a major hearing, a leak, a briefing that crosses the line, it will spread like absolute wildfire, and X will be the place to grab it. So, yes, 2026 could be that window. It's not guaranteed. It's not tomorrow. And I'm going to give you the date that I think it's going to come. But plausible for more steps. Declassified files, partial admissions, maybe the first real crack in the wall. The shock, it might not come from one big announcement, but the slow realization that we are not alone in the universe. What do you think, guys? First of all, do you guys think we're alone in the universe? Or do you guys think that there are aliens that are, whizzing around us? There's only two options. We either are or we are not. Now, I think, and if I was a betting man, and I am, I love a flutter. I would say if aliens are coming, they are going to get to Earth on, I'll give you the exact date. I'll give you the date. I'll give you the actual day. If aliens are heading towards Earth, I think they will come here and they will be at Earth Friday, the 13th of April, 2029. Why am I saying that date? Why am I being so specific? Why am I being so specific? All comes down to this asteroid that's heading towards Earth, Apophis. Apophis is Apophis. It's ridiculous, guys. I know I've spoke about this quite a lot. Imagine this 8 ball as being Earth. This asteroid that's on its way to Earth, it's heading it's literally, how they say asteroid skims past Earth and you're looking at it, oh my God, you're trying to find out how close it was to Earth and you look and it was like 3 million miles or something. You're like, yeah, that's definitely not skimming. In astrological terms, like 3-5 million miles, that is skimming the planet. All right. Now, hear me out. This asteroid, it's called Apophis, and that's coming in 2029. That asteroid is coming so close to Earth. It's coming so close to Earth, it's going to go underneath it's not all of them, but it's going to go underneath some satellites that we have orbiting our planet. So, if 5 million miles is skimming the Earth, what is it when an asteroid goes underneath satellites that we have? What's that? What is that? If there is a date for aliens coming, guys, that's when I think it is. So I'm going to give you guys a hypothetical scenario of what may happen in the next couple of months. You could genuinely see this ramp up. You could see this ramp up. More talk about disclosure, more talk about anomalies, more talk about UAPs, more talk about security, more talk about anomalous phenomena. There could be a disclosure, and in that disclosure, they could say that this asteroid, Apophis, heading towards Earth, is not an asteroid. It's actually an alien ship. That's what they could be saying, guys. That's what they could be saying. Now, I don't know if this is. I don't have, look, guys, I don't have the large telescopes to look at these things. I don't have access to the NASA's telescopes that are in space. I can only tell you guys what I'm getting from the mainstream. Right, I've just seen a comment on here. He says, right, are we saying, right, just a minute, right? Are we saying crop circles were made by a guy? Who's saying that? Is somebody really saying that crop circles are made by a... Right, okay, if we're talking about crop circles, right, I don't know what people... if you've ever seen the intricacies of a crop circle, I don't accept that crop circles are made by people, not even remotely. There's loads of videos on the internet about crop circles and how they're bent. They're bent at the nodes. So when a piece of grass grows, or crop or whatever it is, you get these little bumps. I think maybe halfway, say it's corn or whatever, halfway on the corn, you get a little node in the middle. If you look at the crop circles are literally bent at those nodes. So, and none of the nodes are broken either. So how does a man do that? How does a man with a board do that? If somebody can answer that, Like, does somebody go there and like massage each piece of like each piece down, and they manage to do millions of those in a night? I don't think that's. I don't think, honestly, I think anybody that says crop circles are made by men, I just think it's absurd. It's preposterous. Some of the geometric patterns that crop circles produce are, you couldn't do that. You honestly, guys. And if we are saying that crop circles are made by men, then where are the half-finished crop circles? Where are the abandoned crop circles? Where are the crop circles that they got into and they didn't have enough time to finish it? And like, where are all the footprints? It just doesn't. No, not a chance, guys. I don't for one second take. I will accept that some crop circles, like the basic circle ones, yeah, I'll say they could be made by people, maybe, you know. But these huge crop circles with like fantastic geometric patterns, not a chance. The Willow Fairy is saying after 3 a.m. with a clear sky, you can see them. Yes, do it for yourself. Trust your lying eyes. What do you mean, Willow Fairy? What Willow Fairy? Can you give me more context? Willow Fairy, can you give me more context? What can we see after 3 a.m.? Lynn Lux is saying, what's with the stock market being mentioned? Okay, so this comes from an article from the Sunday Times. It was released tonight or last night, I guess. Now, the article is from basically the Bank of England are being urged. And look, guys, you guys can like do a Google search on this, all right? Bank of England must plan for financial crisis sparked by aliens. That's what one of their analysts is saying, basically. You know, the Bank of England needs to, you know, prepare themselves for the mass outrage, mass panic buying, panic selling, all crazy sorts of stuff would be happening. And you can imagine this right now. Imagine this. Imagine you get an alert on your, well, half of you wouldn't believe it, right? Because you don't even have the alerts turned on your phone. But imagine you get a message to your phone right now, and it says, aliens have been detected. They're on their way to Earth. Hide in your basements. Like, what would you do? Like, what can you do? Like, I would speculate straight away that there would be looting. I would speculate that nobody's going to pay any more bills, right? Like, why would you? Yeah, what am I going to pay? I'm going to pay my bills in my last few hours so the bank can get their last bit of, you know, the last bit of milk out my stone. So you can imagine the financial crisis if this does happen. Right, let me jump down and get some more comments. The Willow Fairy is saying, if you look in the sky after 3 a.m., it's fascinating. There's a whole load of shit going on right above us. Not just me seeing them. Right. I can feel a live stream coming on here, guys. I can feel a live stream coming. Should I do a live stream at 3 a.m.? Oh, God, that's going to be a faff. I'd have to do it on a weekend. On Friday, I know this is this Friday. This Friday, should I try and do a live stream outside? Like this Friday, should I try and do a live stream outside? And we'll see what we can see. We'll see if it's true or not. Louise Gethin is saying it means the Bank of England must prepare for Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam, yeah. So Project Bluebeam is a proposed scenario where the governments of the world fake an alien invasion to unite Earth as one world government. So we all have to come together to fight the aliens. We fight the aliens, we win, but then we're under one world government. Debatable is saying it's satellites. So I think that's in response to the Willow Fairy, who was saying if you look out the window at 3 a.m., you will see a load of alien stuff flying around. I don't know if it is satellites. It might be satellites. You know, it might not be satellites. I will say this, right? me and my eldest, we was laid on the garden. One summer it was really hot, and we put a blanket outside. It was just laid outside on the garden. It was laid on top of the blanket, and we was watching the stars. And you can see satellites. You can see, like, you can see the satellites moving. Now we both saw it. There was one satellite. I agree. If you lay on your back at nighttime and there's no clouds and you look up, you see all sorts of stuff flying around. All that. I don't know what it is. To me, it's just lights. It could be anything. So we was laid there, and these things are moving across the sky, and one of them, it was really weird. It was moving across the sky in one direction, and then it took maybe 100-degree turn. So it almost just 10 degrees more than 90 degrees. So it was going that way, and then it went like that way. I was like, whoa, because that just wasn't like a satellite wouldn't do that. Absolutely no chance a satellite wouldn't do that. So it was going across that way, and then it like maybe 110 degrees. I don't know, slightly back on itself, like it made like a Z. So it was coming across, and then it went slightly down and back on itself, like over 90 degrees, and then it continued on like more or less the same trajectory, like, but a little bit down. I thought, wow, that is like, if that is a satellite, I don't know what it is. If that's an airplane, I don't know what that is. Yes, it could have been a drone, but I feel if it was a drone, I would have heard it. So I just, I tried to troubleshoot in my head. I've got a fair amount of experience in aviation. So I tried to troubleshoot it in my head. And the only thing I could come up with was it's a satellite but even the speed of it, I don't know, guys. I genuinely don't know what it was, but I did see something a little bit weird. I'm not going to say it's a UFO. I'm not going to well, I guess they're all UFOs, right? Because we don't know what they are. I'm not going to sit here saying it's aliens, because, it's probably not. It's probably some secret military technology, but that did definitely happen. And I can't put my finger on what those flight characteristics were. The Willow Fairy is saying, does anyone know who Nikola Tesla is? Isn't he Reform UK? Isn't he? No, yes, I do know Nikola Tesla. Well, who he was. Did anyone see what's under the pyramids? Do you know why we buried all the bells? Right, okay. So when people say we buried all the bells, literally every hour the church bells go here. In the summer, when I've been on the live streams on the hour, I'll open the doors and you guys can hear the bells. So I know the bells are still ringing here, right? I know that. Did anyone see what's under the pyramid? So I've seen this documentary. I've seen these people talking about these massive structures underneath the pyramids. I don't know how they know that. They're saying that they use sight aperture radar, SAR, and that's not how it works, guys. That's not how sight aperture radar works. Again, it might be something different, but that's not how sight aperture radar works. So as soon as I was listening to this guy's explanation, when you're listening to somebody, right, and their explanation of something is wrong, I just switch off. I switch off. I think, right, you're waffling. Literally, what you're saying is wrong. So if somebody claims to be an expert about something, not many people know how sight aperture radar, well, they do know how sight aperture radar works. It's like, it's not one of those things that's massively in the, in the open, but sight aperture radar does not work the way that they were explaining it to work. If you're looking at ground penetrating radar, best case scenario, you get like maybe 10 feet with with ground penetrating radar, and that is at ground level. That's at ground level. Now, what they're talking about is using satellites, and I was like, no, I literally just switched off, guys, as soon as they started talking, and it wasn't right. Am I the deceiver? Why am I the liar? Right, William. Right, I'm going to leave your comment on there. All right, but don't keep spamming, right, William? Don't keep spamming, all right? William, I've read your comment. Don't keep spamming, right? Don't keep spamming, William. I've read your comment, okay? I'm not an expert, but my project was funded by the Climate Action Network for all the naysayers. What project is that? What project is that? And Louise is saying, I don't hear my bells. I don't hear our bells so often now, sadly. Isn't there? Right, okay. I'm here for war. I'm right. Okay, William, with all due respect, mate. Okay, that's William in timeout. William's in timeout. I love William. I love William. I love William, but he's in timeout. William's in timeout now. Look, I don't mind people throwing a bit of spam up here now and then, you know, with the odd biblical test. But William, I love William. He's great. William just keeps spamming. It's like all these biblical texts, and I'm listening, all right? Those biblical texts are not going to help anyone when this Apophis asteroid comes in. When's it coming? In 2020, 2029. I can guarantee you guys, right? You can all look at your books. Oh, hold your book up. I don't know. Maybe it will help. I don't know. Anglo, I'm just going to leave it Anglo, is saying William isn't totally wrong. Revelation is coming, just not yet. Listen, guys, I'm not saying William's wrong at all. What I'm doing is I just put William, you know, I just put William in timeout, because if I don't put William in timeout, he just keeps spamming. And it's like I'm trying to read comments, and there's just all these biblical texts everywhere. So, you know, I don't know if he's still listening, but if you are still listening, William, you know, just when you come back on, all right, when the timeout is end, I think it ends in 5 minutes or whatever, just don't start spamming again. You know, I read your comment, you know, I read it, I gave you time of day, and it is what it is. Right. Exorcism AI is saying aliens are already here. What are we doing here? All right. So he's saying that we're the aliens. Find a video of the standing bell, Sean. It makes everything phase out for a second. The standing bell. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Right, listen, guys, this was just a short live stream, okay? I wanted to jump on here and I wanted to give you the word on the street. Aliens are coming, like really. This is from the Bank of England. You know, it's not even from the Bank of England. This is from the Times on Sunday. The Bank of England must prepare for a financial crisis sparked by aliens. And when I opened this, I was like, do they mean illegal aliens, like claiming like state benefits or something? No, they're actually talking about nanu aliens. They're talking about like little green men, maybe not green. I don't know. I don't see color in aliens, guys. I don't see color in aliens. I just see beautiful life. I do. I just see beautiful life, you know, because this isn't a fringe speculation anymore. This is real mainstream stuff, and it's a plausible, it really is, guys. It's a plausible black swan event. So when we think about, you know, what may or may not happen, you know, with the with the potential alien invasion, alien disclosure, you would have all sorts of crazy stuff. You can imagine, right? You can imagine the stock market, people with stocks and shares, right? You would have panic buying. You would have panic selling. You would have people rushing out to buy gold as a safe option, only to find out that if alien technology is there, then maybe gold's not that useful after all. Or maybe if we start mining asteroids, gold would flood the markets and it become worthless. You know, there'd be bank runs. So a bank run would be where people go to the bank and they, yeah, give me all my money in cash. Once that happens, the people at the back of the queue, they don't get their money because it's gone. There'll be payment failures, maybe even civil unrest, all within the first few hours. And she's urging the Bank of England to quietly build contingency plans. All this as the United States are building up day in, day out about disclosure, further alien disclosure. So that's where I'm going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it there. Exorcism AI 96 is saying demons, then the Nephilim. Aren't the Nephilim the giants? And Archons. So who knows, ladies and gentlemen, but my exact date for this, I've said it a few times in this live stream, my exact date for this, and if I was a betting man, I would say that there's some sort of disclosure and this asteroid that's heading towards Earth, and I will keep saying this. It's right. So when you get an asteroid coming towards Earth, you know when you see it on the paper and it says, you know when it says, what's it called? Asteroids scraped past Earth with only hours to, and you're reading the article. Oh God, how close was it to skim by Earth? And you look at the article and it's like, oh God, it was 5 million miles. You're like, right, okay, they're saying that's a skim pass. Well, it is in astrological terms. 5 million miles is a skim pass. Okay, the asteroid Apophis that is coming towards Earth, making its closest flyby on, yeah, you're going to get this right, Friday the 13th of April 2029. It's going to come that close to Earth. It's going underneath some of the satellites that are orbiting Earth. Does that sound safe to you guys? Does that sound legit? What if there's a miscalculation being made? That is the date when I said it will be coming. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I'll be back on at 8, and I bid you good afternoon or whatever time of day it is.